Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show. Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another live episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, WIZE, and I have a very special guest on today. She's a breathing and pain specialist, an entrepreneur, speaker, author, ultra marathoner, and a photographer. Wow, I just said a lot. Welcome to the show, Dr. Amy Novotny.
Hi, Wise. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me on. It's a real pleasure.
Oh, thank you for being on, Doc. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a good day. Sun is shining.
Yes. Anytime you get up and enjoy and breathe some air and get to enjoy life, it's a great day. So,
yeah.
But it's even better now that I have you on the show. So, all right, let's get into it.
Sure.
How did you get into helping people get out of pain and stress through breath work?
Sure. It's a little bit of a story. I'll try to condense it though. I started off my career in the physical therapy world, got my doctorate in that, did that for a few years. And I realized you could help people that had maybe kind of surface level injuries, but someone who had a more chronic situation, it didn't always get people back to a pain-free status. So I realized there has to be more. And I started looking deeper and deeper. I did some studies through the Postural Restoration Institute. I started looking deeper beyond that. And as I was training to qualify for the Boston Marathon, I started experimenting with how I held my body, the positioning of my ribs, and that affected my breathing mechanics, which both affected my nervous system and calmed me down. And through that process, I literally was running 8 miles on a treadmill a couple times a week, and I was playing with it, and I could get myself out of pain just like that. And I'd get off the treadmill after running for an hour, 8 miles, and I didn't have pain. I stopped stretching. I stopped foam rolling. I stopped scraping, all these things that I used to tell people as a physical therapist that you have to do in order to stay pain-free. I stopped doing all of it. And I realized I had stumbled onto something and I needed to dive into it more. So I experimented on myself. I started working on other people, working on this method, trying to get it so that people who were in chronic pain could actually feel no pain again. And that's how I got into using your mechanics of how you breathe. So it's different than breath work. But the mechanics of how you breathe and how you hold your rib cage position affects that fight or flight nervous system. And we can use that to help people out of stress, anxiety, pain, insomnia, those types of things. So that's where I got it here.
So by you doing this on yourself, like really, like you said, you was on the treadmill and started doing stuff yourself. That made you realize that there was something to it, and you went deeper into the study. Like you said, you studied on yourself, and then you went into other people.
Yep. So I practiced on myself for a while, made sure I could reproduce it on myself, getting myself out of pain. Then I started trying it on other people who were open to it. They could get out of pain, so it just kept branching from there. And I developed this technique and this method that led me to traveling around the world. And then eventually I started my own business where now I coach people into helping themselves getting out of this pain, stress, anxiety, insomnia. And that's what I do for a living. I work with people all over the world. We work together on Zoom, and I coach them through a process to help them change the way they are holding themselves, affecting their nervous system, the way their breathing mechanics are playing out. And so we work on that to get them to a pain-free state or reduce stress, anxiety, whatever that's really afflicting them.
So a lot of people believe that pain is synonymous with aging. And why do you think this is incorrect?
So a lot of times when people think about aging, they're like, oh, I just have this arthritis, I have this crick in my back, or my knees are bad. And they blame it on just their age or an injury that happened a long time ago and now they're old. And I say it's not really that. Often what happens throughout our life, we have stress. When we have a stressor, whether it's work, relationships, family, finances, drivers, all those stressors that we have in our daily life, they cause muscles in our body to contract, sometimes without our awareness. Sometimes if it's a big enough stressor, like if all of a sudden I heard the fire alarm go off and I smell smoke, my whole body's going to tense up as it prepares to flee or fight or whatever it is. Sometimes though, we have stressors and we can't sense that happening, but it still happens. And so muscles learn to contract and guard and pull on our bones. When they do that, and they start to pull our bones just enough, they start to pull them slightly out of position. And if you don't recognize this is happening and release it on a daily basis, it continues to go further and further, and your muscles continue to contract more and more and more. And eventually they pull on bones just enough so when you go to move, they start to butt up against each other. Tissues start to rub against each other, and that leads to pain. And I've seen this time in and time out where someone has pain in a joint. Let's say it's a hand joint or a knee joint, something. They go to a doctor. The doctor does an x-ray, standard level of care. You have pain? Okay, let's do an x-ray. They see some wear and tear of the cartilage, or they may see some bones touching. They're like, you have arthritis. Not much we can do. Maybe do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of strengthening. You have arthritis. Maybe you need a shot. Maybe you need a joint replacement. But I say, wait a second. What if we teach the nervous system to let go of those muscles that were trained to guard and contract over the years? What if we teach the nervous system to release those muscles? So the muscles then release the bones, so the bones go back into position and you regain some of that space. And guess what? The bones then don't touch, or the tissues don't touch. Your pain goes away. And then you don't really need that surgery. So that's why I say a lot of times people think, oh, they get older, that means pain, but not really so. It's more that your body changed slightly over time that led to some tissues butting up against each other, which is your pain. And if we can get those tissues to stop doing that, guess what? You don't have pain. And you can do that at any age, as long as you can think and, feel things, as long as dementia isn't, so dominant that you can't remember stuff. You can walk yourself out of the habits that you've developed over time. Now, it often requires a guide, but most people mind having someone help them through that process.
Yeah, you should always have someone guide you along a process that you don't know about. So to be able to find someone to teach them, because I'm taking some voiceover courses online and everything, and one of the methods he teaches is breathing and all that, and how it helps you calm down and relax and all these other things. Is that all tied in together?
Yeah, so breathing in itself can either ramp you up or calm you down. So breathwork in general, there's different types of ways to breathing. A lot of type of breathwork out there is like box breathing. You breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, you blow out for 4 seconds, and you hold 4 seconds and you just repeat. Or 4-7-8 breathing. So it has to do with holding for specific times. Or you have Wim Hof breathing, which is a hyperventilation breathing to ramp you up more. So there's different purposes out there based on how you're breathing. The reason mine is different is because we're focusing on your mechanics, not just what number are you counting to. So we want to look at how do we really support the diaphragm so that you're breathing through the diaphragm, which is not belly breathing, but using your diaphragm to breathe so that your body can learn to calm down. And so we want to learn how to get that nervous system out of that ramped up fight or flight mode into parasympathetic relaxation mode by having our breathing process stimulate a nerve that brings about that process of relaxation. If you just continue to breathe in the way that your rib cage is, if your rib cage is elevated, your breathing will be more in that fight or flight pattern, and you may not calm down as much as you would like to. It might help a little bit, but it may not be the end all where you really feel calm because you're breathing in a fight or flight pattern. So if we can work on your body to get your body to be in a position where your whole body calms down, and then you learn to stabilize yourself in that, that's when you can truly feel calm. You can feel at peace. You can go to sleep where you're in a relaxed manner.
And you don't only teach this just because for health reasons as well. You teach this to business owners and entrepreneurs as well, right?
Yep, quite a few of my clients, I'd say 75%, 80% of my clients are entrepreneurs, business owners, high profile, who want the one-on-one attention to help them be able to focus better in their work, get out of some type of chronic pain, have more energy, have the ability to be more creative. So they're working through some issues. We all have issues, no matter what our job is, what our business is. We all have issues. And so a lot of times I work with them not only to alleviate pain, but to help them feel calm enough so they can handle their staff, so they're not as emotionally reactive, so they can feel better about the way they present themselves to others.
Okay, that's dope. That's being able to, because to me, it's, of course, everyone wants, one of the first things they want to do is go into medicine and get medication to help you with whatever issues you have. And when there are natural ways of you healing yourself and natural ways of you helping yourself and breathing, who would have thought that breathing is something that can help with that?
Yep. A lot of people just think it's just getting oxygen into your body, and it's a lot more than that. So we're trying to get it so that your body is healing. It's being able to focus. It's being able to sleep. All of this is dependent on how you hold your body. And breathing is a small part of that too. But so much is dependent on how you hold your body and whether or not you're holding your ribs in a way that overstimulates their nervous system.
So say someone is slouched over and breathe, it's going to be it's going to be a little bit different from someone who's sits upright and breathe.
Absolutely. So if someone is over erect, so like if you think military posture or Superman, they're going to be breathing in a fight or flight pattern. Their body's going to tense up and they're not going to feel very flexible. It's very common. Most people in the military, when they come out of the military, they feel like they're not flexible. Well, it's because they were taught to breathe in a fight or flight pattern that's going to lock them up and contribute to injuries. The other extreme is if you're completely slumped over, that's not really healthy either. And you're going to put a lot of stretch in your back muscles that will still compress, and you won't have the problem like a military person does, but you also won't feel very stable, and it will still be hard for you to get air fully into your lungs because the front part is collapsed down, your back part's getting air in. So then if we go into kind of the in-between, where you're not too upright, you're not sucking your gut up and in, but your ribs are down, your belly's hanging out, but you're upright, now we can get air into both the front of the lungs, the back of the lungs. And because your rib cage is not overly tipped backwards, you're not compressing on the nervous system back there. And so your body can then have some flexibility and move and do whatever it needs to run, play, whatever, lift something, whatever you want it to do.
Okay. All right. So, like we said, you help entrepreneurs. I
Mhm.
see you helped someone. I love his book, Robert Kiyosaki.
Mhm. Yeah.
How was that experience?
That's nice. He's a wonderful man. I was at an event and I was getting his autograph in one of his books, and I just thanked him for writing the book. And I said it's helped me, and he asked me what I did, and I told him that I help people get out of chronic pain and stress. And he asked me if I could help him. I said sure. So I said, I'll be around for the next couple days. Just find me whenever you have time, because obviously he's a busy man. And
Yes.
so he came and found me after dinner one of the evenings and asked me for some help. So I took him to another part of the event, and people were walking around, they could see and that, but was able to give him some relief. And so he started walking around the following days thereafter, asking people where I was, so he could talk to me and sit with me and all of that. And so he's become a good friend now.
That's amazing, and all that because you discovered a breathing method while you were exercising.
Yeah, and so I just want to be clear, it's not just breathing.
I know, I
Breathing,
know, I know, I know, I know. I'm sorry. And it's
yeah, a lot
it's
of
I
people are
get it, but
their breathing.
it's just it's also yes, it's also yes. With you're absolutely right with your rib cage and everything. It's but just by you being on the treadmill doing this,
Mhm.
it led you to this amazing journey. This is probably taking you probably all over the world.
Yep, yep, it has, and it's the work is in the nervous system. So calming down the nervous system so the body lets go. That's where the true power is. And it did lead me to getting hired by a world famous photographer, bird photographer, to travel with him and his girlfriend for 6 months. Led me to the Arctic Norway, Arctic Finland, all the way down to Antarctica to coach him in this process to help him avoid a knee replacement surgery, a shoulder surgery after a fall. So was able to help him avoid those two surgeries, and then got to travel around the world with him, do some photography as well. And then when I came back, I started my own business and practice. And then a couple months later, I got to meet Mr. Kiyosaki, and the rest is history. He started calling me his body healer. And so I realized if I can help someone who's put his body in such trauma, both of those scenarios were men who had done a lot to their bodies, who had undergone a lot, suffered a lot, pushed hard in their businesses. And so if I can help them calm their nervous system to alleviate the pain, stress, anxiety, I need to share this with other people. And that's become my biggest push, is sharing it with other people so that we can, teach people there's so much more about their bodies that they can tap into to alleviate pain and live a better life.
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the first, and I'm an advocate for natural healing and for because our body heals itself.
Mhm.
We've it's just the stuff that we put into it that stunts that, and then the belief system as well. But our body's amazing, and if we were to really learn the secrets of our body, it
Mhm.
would it's just be a whole different world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so much of our attention is elsewhere, whether we're doing a job, we're having a family we're taking care of, we're participating in activities with friends. We're not always conscious of our bodies. And there is so much out there saying, oh, eat this piece of candy, eat this candy bar, eat this ice cream, eat this processed foods. And we just say, hey, it's right there. If they're selling it, it should be good for me, right? And it's full of chemicals. I mean, even the shampoo we use, full of chemicals. So there are so much that we can do and to change our body, and it's our own choice. So when we think about, okay, do I like my health right now? I have the choice to change it. If I don't like it, I can choose to eat organic fruits and vegetables without chemicals. I can choose to get up and move at least an hour a day doing some type of exercise. I can choose to get 8 hours of sleep. I can choose to learn how to regulate my nervous system to alleviate pain, stress, and anxiety. Those are all free choices that we can make. So it's a matter of, do we have enough willpower to filter out all the other things that draw us into being sick? So that's a hard choice to make. I'm not saying it's easy.
It's not.
We're influenced by whoever's around us. So that's why I say pick a guide very carefully. Someone who can help you stay accountable, who can give you the education, who can help you weave the healthy habits into your life so that you can get out of whatever pain you're in, whatever stress you're having, whatever anxiety attacks you're having, or insomnia. We can all look internally and see what is missing in my life, what feels off in my life. Now, who do I need to help me get back on track?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. And that goes with almost anything you do. Like for me, being able to find mentors in the podcasting world has helped me develop my talents here. So being able to find someone to help you, to coach you and guide you on how to maneuver your body and how to do what you do. And this is not a very this is a unique practice, I would think, right? Or is it a lot of people practicing this, or are you?
Nope, I developed it. So it's something I developed, went through the trademarking, registered, all that stuff. So it's something I've developed. I haven't met anyone yet who does anything similar to what I do. I imagine there might be someone out there in this world. I can't say I'm the only person, but I'm the only person that I know of who does this.
Okay. And do you teach other people so that they can teach other people as well?
That's in the works. Right now, I have an online course. So I'm guiding people through this process so they can learn and feel it. And then once I have that developed into a year-long program, right now it's in a 4-week program and a 12-week program. But once that gets into a year-long program and I have someone that goes through that full year, then those will be people that I'll pick out and say, hey, would you like to learn how to teach other people in this process? Because it does take some training, and you can't really teach it until you can feel it yourself. If you can feel how you can get rid of knee pain just like that, if you can feel how you can get rid of your back pain when you're running a sport, then you can then imagine and visualize it and help someone else. Because unless you actually feel your body shift and change, it's really, really hard to teach someone something when you can't be creative in how you describe the response you're trying to get out of a person.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
it does, it makes sense. You would have to know what it is that you're feeling, what it is. You would have to experience it yourself before you can actually tell someone how to do it themselves. Yeah, absolutely. So Amy, it's Dr. Amy, has been great speaking to you. Now you can plug away, let them find out where they can find you, everything.
Sure. So you can go to my website. It's pabertinstitute.com. It's P as in pain, A as in awareness, B as in breathing, R as in relief, institute, INSTITUTE.com. So you can go there. You can check out the programs. I have a waiting list for my course right now. So you can get on that waiting list so you get first dibs next time I release another course. And you can connect with me on social media. So there's plenty of ways to get a hold of me. And I do offer free 15-minute consults as well.
All right. I'll put that in the descriptions. If anybody out there who wants to get a free 15-minute consult, definitely check it out. But Dr. Amy, thank you so much for stopping by. But don't leave just yet. We're gonna chat a little bit off the air. But
Okay.
now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to the Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J, Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you and appreciate you, baby. Big shout out to Dr. Amy for coming through and sharing her story and sharing how she's helping people out there relieve themselves of pain without surgery or medication. That is amazing. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at wise_b_blunt, Instagram at wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.